All right, hello everyone. This is one of our first how-to videos using MuseScore for your IGCSE composition assignments. First, we're going to start with triads. So a triad is just a chord containing three notes. Right? Tri meaning three. You have a triangle, has three sides. You have a tricycle that has three wheels. So triads is a chord that has three notes. So first we're going to put our chord in our treble clef. So top lines are treble clef. I'm going to click on the measure that I want to input notes into. I'm going to hit N. That brings me into edit mode. So just to keep it simple, we want to have our notes come in as semibreves or whole notes. So I'm going to click on whole note, semibreves if you're from the UK. Also, I can press the number 7 on my laptop, and that will give me my semibreve, or we'll just call them whole notes because MuseScore says whole notes. We want to put in our first chord. Let's do a C major chord. So I have a C. I can just bring my mouse and stack up my triad. So you have three notes nicely stacked on top of each other. And of course, we want to put a note in our bass clef. For the bass clef, we'll just put in a single note. So click on the measure that I want to input a note in. Click N. N brings me to edit mode. I guess N stands for note. We want to input a whole note, and I'll put in a C. All right, so let's just do the most used chord progression ever. If we have a C major chord here, for our next measure, we're going to put a G major chord. So I click on the measure, go into note mode by pressing N. You can also just hit this N up here with your mouse. Change what duration we want. So we want semibreve, whole note, and we want a G triad. Okay, I'm just using my mouse, stacking up the chords. For here, we'll go down to a G in the bass clef. All right, third measure, we'll do an A minor. Click on the measure, press N, change the duration to whole note. I can press 7, and we need an A. Again, just stacking up the notes, and we'll go A in our bass. And for our fourth chord in this wildly used, overplayed chord progression, we'll do an F major. Click on the measure, press N, press 7 to get us our whole note, and then put in my F triad. So a good rule of thumb is when you're starting out your chord progression, put your triad in the treble clef, and then whatever the bass note is, the root note of the chord, just put the single one in the bass clef. Okay, so this is a C major chord, so I got a C. This is a G major chord, I put a G. This is an A minor chord, I got an A. This is an F major chord, I got an F. Okay, so chord progressions are normally never just repeated once. You at least want it twice in your composition. You can have it 4 times, you can have it 8 times, you can have it 16 times. Some songs on the radio right now, the whole song is just the same 4 chords over and over and over again for 3.5 minutes. But for now, we're just going to do it twice. So first, we need to add measures. So the shortcut for this is Alt-Shift-B. Alt-Shift-B. And this is to append measures. That just means how many measures do you want to add at the end. So if I want to repeat these 4 measures, I'm just going to type in 4, press OK, and then that will give us 4 empty measures appended or just put at the end. Okay, I don't want these 4 empty measures on the same line. I always like to separate my measures my lines into groups of 4 measures. So if I want to put these on their own line, what I'm going to do is click on the note or on the measure that I want to be the last measure of this line. By pressing enter, it's going to push everything down after the measure that I have selected to its own line. So I press enter, and you see it just forced these new measures down to its own line. I want to repeat these measures so I can do it 2 ways. Well, first I need to select it all. Remember, shift is how you select multiple measures. So I'm going to click on the first selection that I want, hold down shift, and I want my treble clef and bass clef. So I'm going to click over here. I'm still holding down shift, click, and then that will select everything in between. I can press R for repeat. That will just automatically repeat whatever you have selected right after it. And there it is. Okay, I just pressed R, and then you see it's all the exact same. Or say you want to take something and put it somewhere else in the song. You don't necessarily want it right after, so you can copy and paste. So we all know that on our laptop, Control C is to copy something. I'm going to go to where I want to paste it. Well, here, I'm just going to put it here. Just select the first measure that you want. You don't need to select all. And then Control V will paste it. All right, so now I got my chord progression using triads, and I got it played twice, so now I have 8 measures. Again, say if you want more, I'm going to put more measures at the end. Alt Shift B, B for boy. I can even choose how many I want. I can choose 8. But let's put in 8. Right, so there's all my empty measures. I like each line to have only 4 measures, so let's split it up. I'm going to click here. Pressing enter will knock everything after the selection down. So now you see everything's here. I want every line to have 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to press enter, and then you see it knocked them down. So since we're just dealing with only 4 measures for a whole song so far, I'm just going to repeat it. So I'm going to select everything I want, click on the first measure of my selection, hold down shift. This is my last selection. If I press R for repeat, repeats it. So you see, it's down here. And let's repeat it again, and it's down here. So now I have 16 measures of the same chord progression played 4 times. All right, and that is how you put in basic triads into a music score and how you repeat your measures.